Geeti, finding her melody. To Vehan, who said, Ma, don't grow up. A winter morning. Ah, a snake! A snake! Lalita shrieked. She stumbled backwards, bumping into the desk and knocking a pile of books to the floor, her heart racing as she stared down at the thing wriggling under her blanket. Geeti couldn't hold it anymore. She burst out laughing, clutching her stomach. Meet Skippy the snake, she giggled between breaths. He's a little shy. Lalita grabbed the rubber snake by its tail, glaring at her roommate. I'm so going to get you for this, Geeti Rathor. But even as she said it, a smile tugged at her lips. The sound of their laughter echoed off the stone walls of their dormitory room at St. Mary's Girls' School. Hey, it was a very good prank, Geeti said, still grinning. You didn't even scream that loud. You're impossible, Lalita muttered. But the tension melted away as they both burst into laughter. The sound was a cheerful intrusion into the otherwise solemn atmosphere of St. Mary's Girls' School. The historic building established by the British in the 18th century stood proudly in the mountainous city of Shimla, where mist clung to the windows and the scent of deodars wafted through the crisp morning air. As they finally headed to the common room to join the rest of the girls for breakfast, the echoes of Geeti's laughter continued to hang in the morning air. To anyone who knew her well, it was a familiar sound, perhaps a signal that nothing was going to stop this 9-year-old from causing a little more trouble today. Outside their frost-covered window, the morning mist clung to the pine trees of Shimla. The old boarding school, with its silent corridors and stern Bible verses on every wall, wasn't used to such noise this early. Sister Maria passed by with her prayer book, giving them a look that said, "Not again." The nuns had never met a child quite like 9-year-old Geeti. She had tried it all. Dead caterpillars under beds, geckos in rosary boxes. Yet somehow they couldn't help whispering, "Poor orphan," when they thought she couldn't hear. Having lost her parents in a car accident when she was 7 hadn't dampened her spirit. If anything, it had made Geeti more determined to find joy and adventure wherever she could. What's her class did towards breakfast? Already plotting. What's our first class? Geeti asked as they headed to breakfast, already plotting. English with Mrs. Lal, Lalita replied, still holding the rubber snake. And no, you're not bringing Skippy along. You'd never let me have any fun, Geeti pouted, but her eyes sparkled. He had made an exciting discovery in Mrs. Lal's class recently, something she was dying to test out. Later that morning, Mrs. Lal pushed her glasses up her nose and wrote on the blackboard. When making lists like flowers, rose, tulip, marigold, you can simply write etc. at the end. It means and so on. Geeti's pencil stopped moving. ETC dot. She whispered the full word under her breath. Et cetera. A slow grin spread across her face. Why hadn't anyone told her about this magical word before? That evening, Lalita sat at her desk with tweezers, carefully removing a wet stamp from an envelope. Lalita, Geeti flopped onto the bed. I figured out how to ace every exam. Oh no, Lalita said without looking up. What now? etc. I can write it at the end of every list. Save tons of time. Lalita glanced up, skeptical. It's not supposed to be that easy, Buddhu. Geeti rolled over to watch her friend's careful work. How many stamps now? 78. Lalita's face lit up as she held up her newest addition. Look, Princess Diana and Prince Charles. She traced the princess's face dreamily. I wish I could have a haircut. So, get it, Geeti said simply. She never saw problems where solutions existed. Lalita touched her long braids. It was not that simple. Sure it is. Look at mine. Geeti ran her fingers through her short curls. One comb and done. No fuss. They both knew Lalita would never cut her beautiful hair. But that was okay. They were different in all the best ways. So, Geeti said, drumming her fingers on her pillow. Tomorrow I'm thinking, prank Reema? Hide someone's homework? Or maybe raid the kitchen for cookies? All of that? Lalita asked, carefully placing her stamp. Maybe none of it, Geeti shrugged. When you don't know what you want, you think of everything. Then the universe picks the best one for you. Lalita shook her head, smiling despite herself. For all of Geeti's chaos, there was something wise about how she approached life. Always looking for the next adventure. Always sure that something good things were coming her way. Outside, the dinner bell rang across the misty mountains. Another day at St. Mary's was ending, but Geeti was already dreaming up tomorrow's possibilities. And somewhere in the back of her mind, that wonderful word danced. Etc., etc., etc.